So this is a Grandmaster game between Karu Nakamura and Alexander Anatolievich Shabalov. And so in this position, and again, this is for beginners. This entire video is for specifically beginners who struggle with chess tactics and how to actually apply them. And so this is who I'm making this video for. And so if you're one of these people, what I want you to do is just sit down for a few minutes and try to recognize what is the tactic that is underlined here. And note for, of course, everything that happens, who is threatening who, what can you actually capture. It's white to move, and I want you to recognize what is the tactic that actually white has in this position. And we're going to come back to this. It's, I think, very simple, but some beginners may still struggle this, whom I'm making this video for. So let's now move to the second part. And so here, let me actually tell you something specifically about chess tactics. I actually didn't really struggle with them because what I've done is I first of all solved any one mover issue that I had. And then after that, what I've done is I just spammed out puzzles, okay? Chess puzzles. And so that was very, very convenient way to prove on tactical knowledge in puzzles and so on. It's really important that for chess puzzles and for tactics, so specifically for the tactics that we're going to cover, that you're just going to do them a lot, okay? And so and the more you do them, the more you're actually going to have an easier eye, so to say, for recognizing them in actual games. And so that's the solution to having a difficulty applying chess tactics. And again, this video is specifically for beginners. So if you're 700, 800 or 900 and you're still at that ELO level and having issues with tactics, okay, so that's the solution. First of all, stop mover blunders, and the second is spam out puzzles. This is what we're going to cover in this video. I'm going to show you how you can apply more chess tactics into your games and how to have an easier eye for recognizing these chess puzzles themselves. So let's now do together an exercise, okay? And so in this position, white had just made a mistake. He had made the move knight to g5. And so I want you to figure out what is the move that you're as black supposed to do. And it might not be the one that you're expecting, because as you can see, black is actually winning in this position. So what's the move as black? You can actually use the three questions that you're using to prevent yourself from doing blunders, like what is under threat, is my king safe, what can be captured, to actually identify some tactics. Okay, so it's also a trick that you can use here. So try to do that. I'm going to now reveal the answer. And so if you're noticing, this queen has a laser beam to the king, okay, from b7 to h1. Okay, and so if you're moving this knight wherever you can basically move this knight for this move wherever you want. And so the move that helps you here is knight to d4, and of course you're capturing pawn, okay, which is also one of the reasons why it's a correct move. But there's also a second reason to why you're doing knight to d4, okay, and not here, this is not, it's this, okay. So there's another reason for this. The second reason is also you're actually opening up a line for your rook on d8, to be more precise. The only move that white can do now is to defend his king. So he does, let's say, for example, bishop to f3. Okay, so let's say, for example, you take, he takes back, and then you also move your rook here. So you're threatening this queen, and again, this knight is pinned to the king now, okay? And so that's how powerful this discovered check has been. So let me just show you the rest of this puzzle very quick, okay? White just moved pawn to g7, king takes, and so it's very hard to stop you now from taking this, from threatening this knight, threatening to capture it. Essentially, that's why you're winning. You can threat this, you're having a very strong rook right here, aiming at a lot of things, okay? This queen is also very, very strong. This queen aims at the king, but you don't have any support, so it's very rough to actually do something with her, because again, this knight's pinned. You cannot just hop in right there. And so again, the way to identify tactics, and I'm saying this again because it's very, very important and it's supposed to be repetitive. It's just to spam out, literally spam puzzles and do them a lot, okay? And I truly mean that. And also, so that you actually have an easier time finding them out, I suggest you to do very, very often blunder checks, because then you're asking yourself actually what is under threat, what can be captured, are kings safe, and so it's easier to actually figure out tactics like this with the queen when we have just checked the king. And so that's the thing which really helps. And also, of course, the other way to recognize tactics is in games when you're doing them, of course. I want to also add like a small caveat that I think is very important to note in tactics, especially in things like this, okay? There is this element of calculation that you needed to have. So just practicing calculation, which also comes in puzzles, but this element of calculation really helps, because, for an example, if you wouldn't calculate what happens after this, it's going to be very difficult to actually pick what to do next. To take here, what do you actually do? That's one of these things. And so the calculation element actually comes in handy to figure out that actually, instead of doing this, doing like taking here or there, right? Taking here or there, it's actually neither. It's just you take, okay, take, come, and after you take here, you're coming in with a rook. So that's the calculation element that there is in puzzles. Okay, so what we're going to do now for the rest of this video is we're going to work together on calculation and tactics, and especially we are going to work on discover the check. And so, as you've seen here, white had made a blunder, king to e1, and now it's a mate in 3. Okay, I don't know if a blunder, I haven't really checked the game, but it's a mate in 3 now. So I want you to try to find this out yourself. Now I'm going to show this. So first of all, notice how this bishop is already aiming here, and how the queen can very easily get to c1. Okay, so also forcing the king to move to e1, to e2, excuse me, basically. And so what you're going to calculate from there is queen to c1, okay, given a check. And then, of course, well, white cannot get back, okay, it's still threatened by the queen. So the only move that he can do, really, is king to e2. And after king to e2, here's the interesting thing, and now comes the discovered check, okay? The move is bishop to d1, okay? King goes back to not back, but king goes to f1, and after this you're given a discovered check and checkmate by bishop to f3. Okay, this is the discovered check. Okay, the queen now checks the king, and the bishop stops him from going anywhere. Let's now move to the second example. Here's this next position that we're going to train over. So here, white had made the miss. Pawn takes d to c5. Okay, so this. And now what I want you to do is find the correct tactic that is going to help you win material. And I really want to put an emphasis on try to calculate all the way into the end. Don't just wait for me to give you the answer. At the answer, I mean for the continuation of the tactic. Try to really calculate how things are going to be after this, what is actually going to happen. And that's how you actually know if you're good at tactics or not. It's just how much can you actually calculate after the tactic. And I'm gonna give you now the solution. After pawn takes to d takes c5, the solution is knight to c3. You're giving a check, but you're also threatening the queen. Okay, so this is a discovered check. Okay, and after the king defends, okay, and in this case here, he moved to d2. Of course, you're taking the queen, but now interesting what is going to happen. In this position, of course, white has done rook to e1 because it pins the queen. But now the interesting thing is, what do you do as black? Do you take or do you move away? And so the answer is, of course, you're moving away because, well, why would you just take here? I mean, the question is why to take here, because he's of course going to later on take back. So it's better to just move away with the knight, okay? So it takes, and that's how we end up winning up 4 points of material, because remember that we have already had a bishop sacrificed, okay, which is important in these puzzles. Okay, so let's now move to the third puzzle that we have. Okay, so for our next and last example, let me just move the board. Black just made the miss queen takes on d4. Okay, there was a pawn here, black took it. And now that's of course a miss, as you can see from the evaluation bar. And so I want you to find the tactics that are underlying here. There's a sacrifice and a discovered check. And so it's white to move and end up eventually winning material. I hope that you've stopped the video to actually calculate all the way to the end. And because you've probably thought about the move that I'm going to show you, but you have this problem like where you think about a certain move, but you're not calculating into the end. So it's very important to do that now so that you'll avoid future blunders when it comes to this. The correct move is queen to f8 with a check. You're sacrificing the queen, yes, but take a look at what happens next. And notice this bishop. So after the rook takes on f8, okay, and your rook takes back on f8, you're giving a check, but you're also forcing this bishop to basically be taken. Okay, and now the question is, again, that's why you need to calculate from the beginning. Do you take with the rook or you take with the bishop? And the answer is, because we have said that there's another tactic, it's actually that you take with the bishop. So bishop takes on c8. And why is that? Well, the idea, of course, behind this is that eventually you're going to give a discover check and take the queen. Okay, so let me show you this now in action. So rook to f7, okay? And now you're doing bishop to a6, okay? Bishop to a6, and after the black rook takes your rook on f8, you're capturing the queen. And you end up in a winning position because it's a bishop and a rook for just one rook, so you're just up a piece. And also, just so you know, I'm looking actually to spread more videos like this to beginners who are struggling in chess still, and you have been in this like level where you're stuck. This is who I'm making more of my videos for. If you found that this video has been helpful so far, you can consider subscribing so that you'll get more information like this in the future. And also there's a lot of videos that I've made like this so that you could go and watch and you won't miss them. And now let's go back to the Grandmaster puzzle that I've showed you at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to show you what is the correct move there. Okay, so here's the position like it was at the beginning of the video. The correct move after this. So now here the position like it was at the beginning of the video, and the correct move for you as white, which Hikaru of course found, is knight to d5. And so the idea is the queen is now trapped, okay, and it's a discovered attack, okay, because the queen now cannot move back, right? And every square that the queen can move to, literally every single one of them, well, she is going to be captured. And so now essentially, well, also before of course, but now especially you're winning as white. So now that you know tactics a little bit better, I suggest you now, after this video, just go to the platform that you're playing in, just go and just study a lot of tactics, a lot of puzzles, and do them to a specific number. Also, very useful is to do them each day so that you're having the topic of tactics kind of covered in a sense. And so that's it for this topic. Also very good to mention, if you're struggling with a specific tactic, it's also possible in most apps today to specify in the app for a specific tactic. So in chess.com they make it very easy. You can just specify, let's say, for mating 3, and so or whatever, of course, every tactic that there is available. And so that is something you can do if you're struggling with a specific chess tactic. So you can try that after this video. Again, if you want to watch more, there's, for example, if you're a beginner and you want to level up above the ELO level of 1000, then there's, for example, in this channel a video that we've made a while ago about how to level up above the 1000 ELO levels. And so you can watch that for an example, and yeah, you're going to have more of a sense of direction at leveling up. That's it for today's session. Leave your questions below and I'll do my best to answer them. And yeah, bye bye. Peace.